Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com, and it is officially the last trading day of August. Now, we are coming into month end, of course. We're coming into a 3-day long weekend. Both of those particular situations have a bullish bias to them. Now, a bullish bias does not guarantee success. It can often damper any negative movement in the stock market. Now, this morning, we've got inflation numbers coming out at 8:30 this morning. We also have Canadian GDP coming out. Both of those numbers could affect the direction of the market. Let's start off this morning's presentation looking at the Magnificent Seven. We do have the ETF on a sell signal. It was down a little under 0.5% yesterday. That had a lot to do with NVIDIA. NVIDIA closed at the low of the day yesterday. It actually opened just above our lower channel line. And then lost it going into the close yesterday. It's been 6 days since we had a bearish reversal signal. We held the 125 level for 5 of those 6 days and then broke down yesterday. We've come down to the 50-day moving average. Of course, you can see where the 100 and the 200-day are below us. The first thing you should probably notice when you look at any of these charts is the fact it looks like we just put in a lower high. So that's a bearish sign for NVIDIA going forward. That downtrend line is going to act as resistance on any up move. Now, we are trading higher in the pre-market this morning, so if you're going to sell the remainder of your position, you can get a higher price for it this morning. Now, looking at the rest of the Magnificent Seven, everybody's on a sell signal right now but one stock. So we're on a sell signal for Amazon, for Alphabet, for Meta coming off what looks like a double top here. Then we've got Microsoft on a sell signal. We've got Shopify on both sides of the border on a sell signal. And we have Tesla still on a sell signal. So no change for any of those stocks from Thursday's trading action. Now, Apple is still on a buy signal. It made a new high yesterday for this move, but it came up and filled the open gap from back here in July. And we'll have to see what the market does now that that gap has been filled. But it is still trading above the upper channel line, so not concerned about a possible sell signal for Apple on Friday. Now, leadership in the stock market has changed recently, and the market needs to get used to that. We've got the Dow and the S&P 500 up at new all-time highs, and it isn't because of tech stocks. Over the last month, the big winners in the U.S. have been utilities, real estate, and financials. In Canada, you can see the financials making a new high yesterday. We've got utilities having a great run over the past month, and we've got real estate stocks also having a great run over the last month. So leadership has changed. I don't know how long that's going to last. It may last forever. We'll just have to wait and see. But technology stocks are not leading the market higher at the moment. Now, when I'm analyzing the stock market, the first place I look is the VIX to see what options traders in Chicago think about the market. And right now, we've got the VIX for the S&P 500, for the NASDAQ 100, and for the Russell 2000, all on sell signals. And that, of course, is supportive for higher stock prices. Looking at the major index ETFs, starting off with the iShares for the TSX 60, we moved up yesterday off the lower channel line, looking for a close on Friday below $34.95. The Dow Diamonds hit a new high yesterday. We're still stuck at the 414.06 level. If we can start closing above that, then 421.88 comes into play. Looking at the SPY, we closed down a nickel yesterday. Looking at the SPY, we closed up a nickel yesterday, still dealing with 562.50. We're trading just below that in the pre-market this morning. If we take that out, then you can see the next two targets to the upside. Looking at the equal-weighted SPY, we're still dealing with 175. If we can take that out, then 178.13 comes into play. Looking at the NASDAQ 100, we're sitting on the lower channel line right now, looking for a close on Friday below $470.26. We are trading higher in the pre-market. So we've run up to the 484.38 level. We've come back down to the 468.75 level. And so we're in a range right now looking to see if we can break out of that range. Now, looking at currencies, we had the U.S. dollar index move up. We had the euro move down on Thursday, and the Canadian dollar had a small pullback. It was down a tick on the day. So we're still on, we still have the same trends going on here, but we don't want to see the U.S. dollar start to move up aggressively, that could be bad for stocks. Looking at the bond market, the TLT is still on a buy signal. The XBB still on a sell signal. No change there in trend. The emerging markets are still on a buy signal. Small pullback yesterday while junk bonds continued to move higher. And so no change in trend there. So we are watching the bond market closely to see if it starts to change direction. That could be bad for the stock market. Looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're still on sell signals. No change there. Looking at the major commodity ETFs, we still have crude oil on a buy signal, while gasoline and natural gas are still on sell signals. We've got gold still on a buy signal, so no change in trend there. No change in trend for palladium. Platinum still on a sell signal. Silver has been trading in the channel for the past 2 days, so a close on Friday below 26.42 would give us a sell signal for silver. Now, looking at some of the big cap stocks in the Canadian market that have been leading this market higher, if we go through some of the financials in the most active list, we've got Manulife having an inside day on Thursday, big up day for CIBC on Thursday, got an inside day for Sun Life on Thursday, an inside day of an inside day for the Bank of Nova Scotia, an inside day for the National Bank after making a new high on Wednesday. There's a new high for the Royal Bank. It pulled back and closed below where it opened, but it still closed higher on the day, so nice move up for the Royal Bank. And then looking at Great West, an inside day there with a small pullback. Now, the railroads barely moved, and certainly there was no negative tension for the railroads as they dealt with the potential strike. You can see both of them held up fairly well. Looking at CN, you've got the bottom of this open gap appears to be acting as resistance at the moment, so keep an eye on that if you're trading CN and CP still closing above the upper channel line, so not concerned about sell signals on Friday. Looking at the U.S. most actives and just going through some of the financials, when we talk about financials leading the market higher, it isn't Bank of America or Citigroup. It can certainly have a lot more to do with J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs. And then, of course, even with all the talk of all the fire and flooding over the past few months, insurance companies seem to be doing well ahead of rate cuts in the U.S. So we've got Aflac, we've got Assure, we've got Allstate, then we're looking at Globe and Hartford, we've got Progressive, all doing very well at the moment. And so that is what is leading the market higher right now. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. Ahead of economic numbers, it looks like the market wants to trade higher on Friday. A lot of people have already left the building for their long weekend, so expecting a fairly quiet day on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your long weekend. I will be back for our members over the weekend sometime, and then the next time you'll hear my voice is going to be on Tuesday morning.